Happy New Year, everybody. Before we begin, I'd like to ask you all to shut off your phones or put them on mute or any other electronic devices that can make noise. If you should have to take a call, please exit and take the call in the hallway. During the meeting, should an emergency arise, please calmly proceed to the nearest exit. Exit the room down the stairs to your right. Should that exit be blocked for some reason, please make a left and then a right and down the stairs and out the door. If you should need any special assistance, please let us know and we'll be glad to provide it for you. Please do not use the elevators in case of an emergency. At this point, I'd like to call Pastor John Calfian to the podium to lead us in the invocation.
Shall we pray? Almighty God, again at this time tonight in this meeting, we're reminded of the freedoms that we have as citizens of this nation, and we thank you for that. Pray tonight for every individual that's involved, our leaders, the participants. Ask you for wisdom and direction in the affairs that will come before this body. We pray that the decisions in the end will benefit our citizens and be of strength to our community. We give you thanks for that in the name of Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor. Please rise now and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President.
You're up.
So, tonight I wanted to take a few minutes to recognize some people, and I'm going to invite the crowd up here in just a minute. But the city of Salisbury, as some of you may know, was recently engaged in and has been engaged in over the last couple of years. I guess it's been in a process of attempting to be a sustainable city, a sustainable place. And the state of Maryland actually developed a program modeled off of Sustainable Jersey, which is a program that the state of New Jersey started, called Sustainable Maryland. And Sustainable Maryland is essentially a certification for municipalities, local governments, to say that we are a place that is going to be better stewards of our resources than we historically have been, which has obviously economic benefits, environmental benefits, public health benefits, etc. So here we are, and this is something that we've pursued for some time. Before I go much further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Tony's eyes got really big. Amanda Pollock and Tony Faselli to come up, please. Yeah. These two individuals are city employees who have been working on and with Mike Molds and others from the Department of Public Works, our certification process. And I think they would be the first to tell you that they haven't done it alone. That they have also been working in concert with our Sustainability Advisory Committee, which is our green team. In other words, the team of people that are working to make us more green, led by Casey Martin. So I'm going to ask Casey to come up. And I'm going to ask, first of all, Casey and Tony and Amanda, if you have anything you want to add. But more importantly, if Casey, you want to introduce your teammates, invite them.
Sure. I am terrible with last names, so I'm just going to call you guys by how I typically call you. Charles, Ryan, and Jim. I think that's all that we have tonight. We have some really great teammates, and I'm super proud of the team that we have. And we are missing one, Rose. She is unfortunately in Thailand. But I'm very proud of us. I think that we've done a really great job so far, and we have some awesome plans for the future.
So can all the teammates come up? Can all of our committee members come up? Let's get a picture here, and then let's get a picture with council. So, proud to say that the city of Salisbury is a sustainable Maryland certified city for 2016, that we achieved the certification, and this is something that we're going to look to continue to achieve year after year after year.
Good job. That's what she Thank you.
And let's get a picture with council.
Want to stand, so it's to stand?
No, I'll stand.
Yeah.
Good deal. We'll share.
Some of you guys come on to this side.
Need another one on that side?
Yeah, we
need balance.
All right.
It's all about balance.
It's all about these. Congratulations. Thanks, guys.
Yes, you can do one thing for me first.
Okay.
So, Tony's eyes got big for a reason because he knew I was going to ask him to say something. But I really think that what's incredible about this effort is that we've got some policy initiatives, some budgetary and programmatic initiatives that go into this, and some infrastructural changes and procedural changes that go into this. And that volunteers, citizens around Salisbury, gave their time to help guide us and help apply and go through the process and go through the state's paperwork. So what I'd love for Tony to do briefly is just maybe highlight some of the things that we did in order to achieve this certification. And Casey, if you hear anything you want to add, feel free, okay?
Hello, everyone. Just giving you a heads up of what we've done so far. Couple things. Community gardens, we've created a couple. Public Works has actually provided water lines to do irrigation, fountains, all kinds of things in the area. We've had a lot of community outreach with those. We actually even had volunteers come in, help plantings, and other items in the area. LED lights, a big thing, that infrastructure that we're doing, a big retrofit. Billy Sterling, if you don't know him, is kind of leading that project. It's continuous. Think of other things. We've done some asphalt transformations. That was an older project. Basically turning a parking lot into like a wetland bioretention, kind of converting things over. A lot of things going on, but we're still moving forward, trying to see what other benefits we can add into the future. We have a 3-year plan. If you're willing to look at it, we're always willing to change and add ideas in. But that's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony. Worth noting, since Community Gardens was mentioned, that we have tonight the Secretary of Community Gardens for the City of Salisbury in the room, Martin Hutchison. Pastor Hutchison, thank you. Thank you for being here. So, Mr. President, I think it's a testament to the entire community. You can hear that some of those programs are not just city functions, but are in fact community functions. So, testament to the community to be a sustainable certified city. And I know you and I were both proud to receive the honor.
It was
that
very
day.
good when we received the award. I forget how many cities had the distinction. It wasn't.
I think it's like 23.
Yeah, it's not a lot. And when you look at
157 municipalities. around the state.
157 municipalities, and we're one of 23. And again, I think the big thing is, the reason it works is because what we say is our best asset, which is our people.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So,
Thank you all.
congratulations. Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the legislative agenda.
Second it.
Mr. Boda,
Second it.
Mr. Rudisil. Okay, I got you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Ms. Jackson?
Second.
Mr. Boda? Good evening, Ms. Nichols.
Good evening, Mr. Heath, Council. On the consent agenda this evening, we have the December 5th, 2016 work session minutes, the December 12th regular meeting minutes, and the December 19th work session minutes. And we have a request for a manufacturing exemption for LWRC International LLC. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I now call the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you very much. I will now entertain a motion to award the bids.
So moved.
Ms. Jackson?
Second.
Mr. Boda? Mrs. Miller? I apologize.
Should have seen
for
her
that.
jump. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. There's only one item this evening. It's an award of bid for RFP 03-17. It's the magnesium hydroxide feed, mix, and storage system and chemical. So the City of Salisbury Internal Services Department Procurement Division received a request from the Department of Public Works to solicit proposals for that project. This solicitation sought proposals from qualified and experienced firms to provide 2 magnesium hydroxide feed, mix, and storage systems and the corresponding chemical to the wastewater treatment plant. Procurement Division followed standard solicitation practices by advertising in the Daily Times, on the City of Salisbury's website, utilizing the city's vendor list, and advertising on the State of Maryland's website, eMaryland Marketplace. Only one vendor submitted a proposal by the due date and time of Tuesday, November 29th, 2016 at 2:30 p.m. This vendor's proposal was evaluated, and according to the criteria specified in the bid document, they ranked 2.99 on the scale. The Procurement Department concurs with the award recommendation submitted by the Department of Public Works and thereby requests council's approval to award a contract to Premier Magnesia in the amount of $680,000, which also provides for 6 months of chemicals, the feed mix storage, and the storage system, which that usage is expected to hold through to the completion of the new storage tank at the wastewater treatment plant. There are sufficient funds to cover this purchase in the account noted in your packet.
Anybody have any questions? I have one, if you could, since there was only one bidder, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you know what we spent roughly last year for the same?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Amanda.
This is the same vendor that we use right now, so it will be the similar contract. Our price per gallon right now is $2.58. So the price per gallon is coming down a little bit because right now they have to provide the storage tank and the mix system, where since we're building it as part of the upgrade and we'll have an 8,000 gallon storage tank, we separated those two items. So we are seeing a little bit of a savings in the per gallon price because once we have that tank in place, we don't need their system anymore. So this is an item we spend about $450,000 a year on. So this is a good dollar per gallon price.
Great. I knew you'd have the answer. Thank you. If there are no other questions, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of the award of bids, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Thank you.
We're going to go out of order a little bit here, if you allow me. Our delegate, Carl Anderson, has come in, and I asked him to come tonight and give a little bit of an update, if he would, on the legislative priorities since the legislative session starts Wednesday. Delegate Anderson, come on up, please. Welcome. Happy New Year. That's Jim.
Cool. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Awesome. Awesome. So let's see. Where should we begin? Oh, how we use revenues. Of course, right? That little thing we've been dealing with for 9 years now. How we use revenues is the local share of the gas tax. We all pay a gas tax when we fill up at the gas station, and the tax is split 70%, 30%. 70% goes to the state, 30% is divided between the counties and municipalities for local roads, your neighborhood streets, sidewalks, and things of that nature. And back, it's probably been almost 9 years ago now, it was cut. 90% of it was taken from us. And so in Delmar, when I was mayor and on the council at the time, we went from $160,000 down to $2,000. And so we were at about 50% restoration. The problem is the legislation was changed to reflect that basic 2% number. And so instead of the pot being $46 million, it's now $7 million that's divvied up. And then over the past 4 years, we were able to work as president of MML and now as a delegate with the two governors that we've had recently to put some of that money back in the form of a municipal grant, and which sounds great. It works great as long as my friends in the legislature leave the money there. But with it being kind of hanging loose as a grant out there, it sometimes gets picked on, and money's been taken off here, and they pick a little piece here and a little piece there, and before you know it, it's lost what it was supposed to be. So I was just received an email and a couple of text messages today. We're going to work with MML to put a bill in. So I'm really excited about that. It's kind of like you've got that call to the bullpen, and so you're excited. You've been sitting on the bench waiting for that chance to take this. This is a big bill. It's an awesome opportunity. And so it looks like we're going to get a shot this year to take and run with it. And so I'm really excited about that. So that'll be my main focus this session, is seeing if we can't get it passed, we're going to know why. We're going to figure out who individually is stopping this from happening. Because everybody I speak to says plainly, yeah, it needs to be fixed. And when it comes time to actually fix it, there's always something somewhere that's not letting these dots connect. And so we're gonna try our way and see if maybe we'll be that piece that gets it done. But I'm really excited about that. I know the importance of that firsthand. MML, of course, all the priorities. We're very lucky. We have two folks here that serve on the legislative committee for the Maryland Municipal League, so they vet every bill that comes through, and they pick and choose the bills that benefit municipalities. And so it kind of lets us know which ones to push and which ones to push against. And I'm fortunate I serve on the local government subcommittee, so most of those bills come through the subcommittee I sit on, and I'm able to kind of sit at the end of the table and nudge this way or nudge that way. So, but it's really neat opportunity. It's our third session. I'm more excited about this one than any other one because you can really feel it. It's come down. It's crunch time. They say the third session in a 4-year span is the one where everything gets thrown at you. So I'm ready to make it happen. But so I guess I just kind of wanted to let you know. I was here last week with the county, letting them know things that we were looking at county-wise. The best available technology system, the BAT systems for homes that aren't on municipal wastewater. The governor had amended that regulation to put it back to where I think it belongs for critical areas. If you're within 1,000 feet of a body of water, then you should have a more enhanced system. If not, I really don't think the need is as dire as some do. So that should help with home construction here. I know that we've been a bit encumbered between that and the sprinkler system mandate that was set on us. And Delegate Sample Hughes and Senator Mathias are going to resubmit their bill, I'm told, to help offset the sprinkler mandate. So I look forward to helping them with that as well. We're very lucky. We have a lot of great people, I think, that represent us. It's so awesome sitting every day with some of the smartest people I've ever met. I feed and I just learn so much from them, and it's just really a really cool opportunity. So I don't know if you have any questions or anything about as we head into this. Y'all are welcome to come up. Everybody is, of course, and hang out. If you want to come up, it's your office. It's not mine. So crash it and throw your clothes, your coats and bags and everything in there, and enjoy the day in Annapolis. That's what it's there for. We have a conference area, I guess, set up with coat hangers and all that stuff. So please feel free at any time to come by. Council Vice President Boda came by quite a few times last year, and I think he made himself quite at home sometimes, so it's good. So I expect to see that happen again. But if you have any questions, please feel free to, if you're hearing anything or if there's anything that you're interested in, if you don't want to share it tonight, all of you have my cell phone number. You can call me anytime. Any questions?
I just want to thank you and the delegation for what you do. We're very lucky on the Eastern Shore, I will tell you, in my opinion. Julia and I do sit on the legislative committee, and just so you know, out of the 157, that was our number one, user revenues was our number one priority. It would be significant if we can get an improvement in that area. The costs in order to maintain our infrastructure is growing every year, and the money for a while there was going the opposite direction, which is not good, and it's a real burden on the taxpayers, and we're very glad for anything you can do, and wish you a lot of luck, and you'll have our prayers.
I will tell you, and thank you. Yeah, any prayers you want to send, I'm willing to take, absolutely. I will tell you, we've worked with the governor and the budget secretary all summer since June on trying to have Salisbury's downtown master plan put into the governor's budget. Now, the last I heard, it was in the final draft of the budget. So unless something crazy happened between the final draft and the printers, I'm hoping, knock on wood, that we're going to be okay with that. But I know with the budget constraints, there were almost $200 million in requested projects from around the state, and they have $15 million to use. So that really makes you work that much harder for that. And so, and what we kind of had done, is the city has probably lost about $7 million in highway user money since that funding was cut. So that was the number we shot for with the governor, just to kind of be made whole, and basically to show that if we had what we needed all along, we'd be self-sufficient. And so we're going to do our best to try to make that happen.
Right.
So anyway,
Thank you, Carl.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it very much.
right on. See you in a couple days.
Yep,
See you Wednesday.
get some rest. Okay, we appreciate the delegate coming in and giving us an update, and he does work very hard on our behalf. I'll now entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2713.
Second.
Mr. Pona and Ms. Jackson. I'll switch it next time. Good evening.
Good evening. Resolution 2713, a resolution of the City of Salisbury accepting the donation of real property located at 137 Delaware Avenue, Salisbury, Maryland 21801 from G&I LLC. Whereas the owner G&I LLC desires to donate the real property located at 137 Delaware Avenue by deed dated October 28th, 1999, and recorded in Wycomico County, Maryland, land records in 1739, folder 568. And whereas there are no outstanding charges due to the City of Salisbury for this property, and whereas the City of Salisbury is interested in obtaining foreclosed and or abandoned properties which create a blighting influence on our neighborhoods, so that said properties may be either rehabilitated for resale or demolished to make way for new construction. And whereas the approval of this property by the city of Salisbury is contingent upon the property being returned to owner-occupied homeownership, and whereas no title search has been performed by the city yet, and the status of the title is unknown at this time. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of City of Salisbury, Maryland does hereby accept the donation of real property located at 137 Delaware Avenue, contingent on a clear title based on title search conducted by the city solicitor's office, and with the requirement that the property will be returned to owner-occupied homeownership by the city.
Any questions?
Is 137 attached to 139 on Delaware Avenue? No? That was my question.
Any other questions?
And just to be clear, I guess, there were some concerns, I guess, from Councilman Ireton, but there's gonna be a covenant on the deed to ensure that it stays, owner occupied for a certain period of time.
Correct.
And this remains, and this property goes into the, fair housing. Like fair housing,
All right,
as long as we're in agreement.
any other questions? Hearing none?
No, it's just because the
Go ahead.
resolution is contingent upon returning the property to owner-occupied
Yes.
home ownership. So that will be obviously put in, in the type of deed.
I'll now call the motion. All those in favor of Resolution 2713, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Thank you. I now entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2409.
Oh, so moved.
Oh, here's the way for us. I'm in
Second
another
it.
world. Don't feel bad.
I was getting nervous there, folks.
Wait a minute. Who seconded it?
Mr. Tillman.
Okay, this is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury approving an amendment of the FY 2017 general fund budget to accept a donation made to reimburse the purchase of summer youth employment uniforms. Whereas in the summer of 2016, the city established a pilot program geared at employing 10 youth ages 16 to 24 who were either in or out of school, and whereas the youth received uniforms that were paid for in whole by the city, and whereas the Greater Salisbury Committee has donated funds to reimburse the city for the summer youth work program uniforms for the amount of $756.15, and whereas the city's FY 2017 budget has not been amended to include the appropriation of the $756.15, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, city's fiscal year 2017 general fund budget be and hereby is amended as follows: increase miscellaneous revenue account 01000-456911 by $756.15.
Questions? Hearing none, I'll call a motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2409, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2410.
So move.
Ms. Jackson, Mr. Bowden.
Okay, this is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury, Maryland pursuant to Chapter 17.221 of Title 17 zoning of the Salisbury Municipal Code and Section 4.04 of Article 66B of the Annotated Code of Maryland for the purpose of amending Section 17.156.030, 17.160.030, and 17.04.120 to add solar farms and a definition of solar farms in the R5, R8, R10, R5A, R8A, and R10A residential districts, whereas the ongoing application, administration, enforcement of Title 17 of the zoning Salisbury Municipal Code demonstrates the need for periodic review, evaluation, and amendment that will keep Title 17 current, whereas the mayor and city council may amend Title 17 zoning of the Salisbury Code pursuant to the authority granted by Article 66B of the Maryland Annotated Code in accordance with the specific provisions, Chapter 17.228, amendments rezoning, Title 17 zoning, and whereas the mayor and city council requested that the Salisbury Planning and Zoning Commission periodically review Title 17 in light of existing procedural practices, and input from the city council and members of the public. And whereas Pastor Robert C. Reinhardt Jr. of Faith Baptist Church submitted an application to amend the text of the residential districts, and whereas a public hearing on the proposed amendment was held by the Planning Commission in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 17.228 of Title 17 zoning of the Salisbury Municipal Code on October 20th, 2016, and whereas the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the proposed text amendments to Section 17.156.030, 17.160.030, and 17.04.120, now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the City of Salisbury, Maryland, Title 17 of the zoning, Title 17 zoning of the Salisbury Municipal Code is hereby amended as follows. Amend Section 17.156.030, uses permitted by special exception by adding the following item. It will be item F, solar farm. Amend Section 17.160.030, uses permitted by special exception by adding the following item. Again, item F, solar farm. Amend Section 17.04.120 by adding the following item, and this is a definition: solar farm dash a utility scale energy generation facility principally used to convert solar energy to electricity for the primary purpose of wholesale or retail sales of said electricity. And be it further ordained by the City of Salisbury, Maryland, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after the date of its final passage, but in no event until 10 days after the date of the council's public hearing.
Questions? Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2410, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2411.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boda, Ms. Jackson.
Okay. This is an ordinance of the city approving an amendment of the city's capital project fund budget to reallocate to funding for the Main Street Master Plan project. Whereas ordinance number 2357 authorized the city to sell bonds per the FY 2016 budget, and whereas ordinance number 2357 allocated bond funding for the Beaver Dam Creek Tidal Dam repairs and Main Street Master Plan, and whereas Public Works is seeking to move unused funds from Beaver Dam Creek Tidal Dam repairs to the Main Street Master Plan, now therefore be ordained by the City Council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, the city's capital projects fund budget be and is hereby amended as follows, with a decrease in the Beaver Dam Creek Tidal Dam repair by $548,116.80, account number 98116-513026-48301, and an increase in the Main Street Master Plan construction by an equivalent amount, account number 98116-513026-48022.
Questions? This is also part of the cleanup of the bond, the excess bond money.
Yeah, it's transferred. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's the same actual bond ordinance,
Right.
and they're just moving it from one of the declared projects to
Right.
another.
And that's part of the thing that we've heard about during the audit process that Mr. Cordy was telling us about, correct? Yeah, okay. All right, there are no other questions. I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2411, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. I'll now entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2412.
So moved.
Ms. Jackson? Mr. Boda?
This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury to amend the annual registration fee for a rental dwelling unit, the annual license fee for a rental dwelling unit owners, and the non-compliant and delinquent fees associated with rental dwellings and licenses. Whereas the fee for annual registration of a rental dwelling unit shall be set by ordinance per section 15.26.040 of the city code, and whereas the annual license fee for rental dwelling unit owners shall be set by ordinance per section 15.26.050 of the city code, and whereas there are also fees associated with delinquency with regard to registration of dwelling units and landlord licenses per section 15.26.060, now therefore be it ordained and enacted by the council of the City of Salisbury that the following updated fees are established and shall remain in effect and shall change by subsequent legislation. Rental dwelling unit fee for annual registration under section 15.26.040. The initial registration shall be $120. The renewal registration shall be $60. The non-compliant rental dwelling unit fee will be $125 for the first non-compliant rental dwelling unit and $60 plus a surcharge of $28 for each additional rental dwelling unit registered under the same license. Delinquent rental dwelling unit fee will be $255 for the first non-compliant rental dwelling unit and $60 plus a surcharge of $36 for each additional rental dwelling unit registered under the same license. The annual license fee for rental dwelling unit owners under section 15.26.050. The initial license shall be $120. The renewal license shall be $60. The non-compliant dwelling owner license fee will be $125, and the delinquent rental dwelling owner license fee will be $255. And there's a parenthetical next to those two items showing you what fee that is. That's it.
Any questions? All right, hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2412, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2413.
So move.
Second.
Ms. Jackson, Mr. Bowman.
This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury for the closing of a portion of North Division Street between North Salisbury Boulevard and Decatur Avenue. Whereas the city charter, SC 11-2, gives the city charge of all public ways in the city, and whereas the Salisbury Department of Public Works recommends closing a portion of North Division Street between North Salisbury Boulevard and Decatur Avenue as shown on Exhibit A, and whereas the closure of this portion of North Division Street is recommended by the Department of Public Works to improve traffic safety on North Division Street by diverting traffic to a signal-controlled intersection of Priscilla Street and North Salisbury Boulevard, and whereas the Maryland State Highway Administration agrees with the closure of this portion of North Division Street, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, that the aforementioned section of North Division Street is hereby closed to vehicular traffic. And be it further ordained that this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon the date of its final passage.
Questions? Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2413, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you. I'll now entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2414.
So moved.
Mr. Rudisill.
Second.
Ms. Jackson.
This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury for the abandonment of a portion of an existing utility easement on property owned by the Village of Hope, Inc. at the homes on Johnson's Pond, located at 1001 Lake Street, Salisbury Election District, Wycomico County, State of Maryland. Whereas Caritas, Inc. is listed according to the records of the State Department of Assessments and Taxation as the owner of real property located at 1001 Lake Street, Maryland, which is encumbered by a City of Salisbury utility easement, and whereas Caritas, Inc. Changed its corporate name to Joseph House Village, Inc., and then to its current name, Village of Hope, Inc., and whereas for the purpose of development of the aforementioned property, Village of Hope, Inc. will relocate a water main installed in the easement area to a location in a new utility easement area on the property which is yet to be finalized, and whereas the City of Salisbury has agreed to the water main relocation and to abandon 14,368 square feet of the existing utility easement, which the city has determined to be unnecessary for any public purpose. And whereas the City of Salisbury has approved a utility easement abandonment plan attached hereto as Exhibit A, entitled Exhibit A, Caritas, Inc., dated October 2016, prepared by Davis, Bowen, and Friedel, Inc. And whereas the City of Salisbury is releasing to Village of Hope, Inc., the abandoned easement area shown on the plat. And whereas the Salisbury Charter, SC 11-2, gives the City of Salisbury charge of all public ways in the City of Salisbury, and whereas SC 16-8 allows the city to abandon or otherwise dispose of property that is not saleable, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Salisbury, Maryland, as follows, that the quitclaim deed between the City of Salisbury and Village Hope, Inc. allows for the abandonment of 14,368 square feet of the 4,068 square foot utility easement area as shown on the aforementioned Exhibit A, and 2, for the purposes and reasons here and above set forth, the City of Salisbury be and hereby is authorized to convey to Village of Hope, Inc. all of the city's right, title, and interest in the abandoned utility easement, and whereas the city solicitor has reviewed and approved the quitclaim deed to release the unrecorded utility utility easement area attached here to as Exhibit B, and be it further ordained by the City of Salisbury that this ordinance shall take effect from and after the date of its final passage. And then there is a drawing there showing what it is that's going to be abandoned. And then the draft quitclaim deed is behind that.
Any questions? Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2414, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tillman.
Thank you.
Ms. Nichols, do we have any requests for public comment?
No.
All right. Hearing that we do not have any requests, this meeting is adjourned.